Are you thinking, I want to sell my home fast? Well, stay tuned because we're going to talk about that right now. So today we're going to talk all about getting your home sold fast, specifically in Edmonton. However, these concepts can be applied to pretty much any city when you take a look at the elements. If you want our free downloadable book about the 7 tips of selling your home fast, make sure to click the description. There's a link there that you can download your free book. Okay, so let's talk about the factors of selling your home and how do we get your home sold. There's 5 key points. So first off is pricing. Second is the market conditions. Third is the location of the home. Fourth would be the condition or the type of home. And then fifth is your marketing and exposure. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each one of these points in a bit more descriptive detail to help you, give you the facts that you need to figure out how to get your home sold fast. So first off, we're going to talk about pricing. Pricing is the key factor, one of the very important ones. Of course, all 5 factors play into one big picture, but pricing is one of the big important ones that has a lot of weight because no matter what you do on the other side, if the price is completely off, it's not going to actually sell your home quickly and maybe not even sell it at all. So you need to look at pricing because if you price your home too high, you could end up not having anybody look at your property. Depends on the market. Currently in Edmonton, the way that we stand, we're sitting in a more buyer's market. So that means there's still more inventory on the market, which means there's more competition. When there's more inventory, that means listings, which are other properties for sale. So you're competing against maybe 20 other homes in your market. So if your home is priced high and other homes that are similar, comparable to your property, maybe even better, and they're priced lower, I think you can understand that pricing makes a huge difference in terms of your sale. So pricing your home too low, is that even a thing? Well, a lot of people get worried when we're sitting down and figuring out pricing. They think they need to price their home high so they have the ability to negotiate down and then they would not sell for lower than they want to. Now we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but pricing your home too low, it's all depending on what your perspective is on too low. Maybe it's too low in what you want, or is it too low as in like way under what the market has sold? So what has property sold for? Are you pricing it way underneath there? Now I'll tell you one tidbit and one fun fact is that if you price your home too low, the market will pay attention to that. So just think, for example, if you were looking to buy a home, you would be on the search for, let's say, this certain area, certain type of home. You've looked at properties and now all of a sudden you're just waiting. So as properties come up on the market, you're pretty knowledgeable now because you've gone out to look at homes. You know what you can get for your money. And if a house comes in way lower than what you've been looking at and so comparable, what do you think? Yes, exactly. You're not the only buyer. There's going to be a bunch of other buyers. The market will adjust the price. So that's something to consider when you're looking at pricing your home. So when you're thinking about pricing, I mentioned this earlier, is market conditions is actually important. So that's our second point. What are the market conditions in the market you're selling in? So if you're looking at selling and you want to sell fast right now, that's different than if you were wanting to sell fast in January or December or April. They're all going to be different factors because at that time, market conditions isn't just specific to real estate. I'm sure you've known that in Edmonton, our economy has been dropping about the last 4.5, 5 years. And so with the lack of jobs and things changing with oil and gas, the pricing, all that kind of stuff, the stability, and then with our world pandemic, it definitely has affected our real estate market. To what degree is all dependent, again, on some of the factors that we'll talk about in a little bit here. So market conditions is also what has sold in your area that is the same property. If you have a bungalow that's 1,400 square feet and it's renovated and updated, looking at a comparable from the last 90 days and something that's very similar is going to be very similar to the pricing that you're going to get for your property. So you want to take a look at properties that are similar to yours in terms of what has sold. Now, looking at what has sold in general is also a good idea to give you the knowledge of understanding what is moving. Because for example, let's say you have a bungalow, but a 2-story has sold for less than what you want for your bungalow. Now, is that going to make sense for pricing? Not necessarily. So you want to kind of make sure you take a look at the market conditions, which is looking at the properties that have sold. You want to look at the economic forecast, or the temperature, I guess, of what's happening where you live. And in our situation in Edmonton, we're still in a buyer's market. Our market is trying to take a shift, but it's not quite moved over to a more balanced market. So you want to take a look at all that. And if you ever have questions or want to see more market condition videos, there's one right here. And we have lots on our playlist under the Edmonton market, so you can kind of understand what the real estate market has been doing. So in regards to the market conditions, is it a buyer's or seller's market? Our strategy is going to be different if it's a buyer's or seller's market to make your home sell quickly. Now, normally a seller's market, it's a pretty no-brainer that your home's going to sell quickly because it's a seller's market. What is a seller's market? A seller's market means you as a seller have kind of the advantage, because maybe instead of 20 homes for sale, there's only like 1 or 2 or maybe none other than your home. So it allows you as a seller to be the only property available, and then there's more buyers than there's listings. And so it gives you the ability to sell your home faster because there's not as many choices. So in terms of selling your home quickly in a seller's market, there's still other things we can do to get it sold for even more money and quicker, believe that or not. We'll talk about that in the next couple points. Now, in a buyer's market, which is what we're at, is what I was saying before, is our strategy is going to be different. How are we going to sell your home quickly? And is it even possible? And absolutely it is. We saw homes sell very quickly this year. We've seen homes sell within 2 hours, 12 hours. We've gotten offers very quickly, but why? How did that work? So we're going to talk about that in the next little factors that we're going to talk about, but I'll give you a spoiler alert. It has to do with the pricing and how the home shows and what kind of home it is. So we're going to have different strategies depending on that. So selling your home quickly, the third fact is the location. That's one of the factors when thinking about selling your home. So location, and where is your home? Is your home in the River Valley areas in Edmonton? And I use River Valley as kind of the coveted areas. There's more desirable neighborhoods in Edmonton as well. Just wanted to use that as an example. There's the suburban areas where you're competing against all the new builders because new properties are still being built in the same community that you are trying to sell your home. Then there's also the less desirable areas of Edmonton. So when you take a look at the location, how do you sell your home quickly in those 3 categories? And is it possible? Absolutely possible. Challenges in almost all of them, except for, of course, the most desirable areas, but there is a strategy to take to sell your home quickly. And so I'm going to share that with you right now. So if you live in the suburban areas and you're competing against the new builds, how are we going to make sure your home sells quickly? Well, very important, like I mentioned earlier, we've got to have an aggressive price because you're competing against the new homes. So you need to be knowledgeable in terms of what the new homes are being sold for. In the olden days, 5 years prior, new home sales were actually more expensive to buy than a resale home. Because if you think about it, when you buy a new home, there's no window coverings, there's no landscaping done, there's a lot of things you still need to do. However, the pricing is so competitive now that people would prefer to just to buy the new build and deal with all that stuff. So pricing is going to be important, making sure you have that competitive edge. So making sure your landscaping is done, making sure you do have window coverings, right? Making sure your home looks like a show home because that's what people are comparing to. So that's some of the strategies that you can take to make sure your home sells quickly in those areas. Now, in a less desirable neighborhood, homes tend to be less desirable, usually because of crime, a lot of things that are factors out of your control, but there is still things that are in your control, and we're going to talk about that in the next step, which is how your home shows. What you can control, how your home shows, is what you want to make sure you just bring up to like a 15 out of a scale of 1 to 10 in order to make sure that your home in the less desirable neighborhood is the most coveted home in that area so that you can get your home sold quickly. So getting your home sold that's in a desirable neighborhood, well, that's pretty obvious. We can still, want a big caution for you. Just because your home can sell quickly and easily, because homes sell quickly because people want to live there, doesn't mean that you're getting the top dollar. So you want to make sure the home is absolutely marketed to the max in order to get everything you want. You want to make sure that when you do sell quickly and you do get 2 offers, that you should be getting 5 offers, that we get all 5, not just the 2, right? So it's really important, even though you're in a desirable neighborhood, to figure out your strategy on selling your home quickly, because you want to sell your home quickly, but also for the top dollar. So that's why I want to have those conversations with you, to make sure you understand what we can do to make sure, and take that time to make sure that we get your home sold for top dollar and the fastest. So the fourth factor on getting your home sold quickly and just getting your home sold is to take into consideration your type of home and the condition of the home. So let's unpack that a little bit. The type of home could be, are you a condo, like an apartment style condo? Are you a townhouse with condo fees? Are you a half duplex with no condo fees? Are you a single family home with a garage in the back or a garage in the front? These are all the types of homes. Each home has a different set of buyers and obviously a different set of strategies in order to get that home sold quickly. Now, I'll give you another spoiler alert. Homes in Edmonton that sell from the $300,000 to $400,000 price range, that is the most hot kind of market and the most amount of sales. And so homes that fit in that price range tend to sell quicker, as a general rule of thumb, if everything is done and all the checks and balances are completed. So take into consideration the type of home. Just because you have an apartment doesn't mean you can't sell quickly. Just because you have a single family home and you're competing with other ones doesn't mean you're going to sell slowly either. So there are those things to take into consideration. It's part of just knowing your market and your competition. So the condition of your home. How does your home show? Now, you've lived in your home for a little while and you may have become immune to the smells or the condition or the nicks on the walls from the kids. You've just gotten used to it and it doesn't bother you anymore. We really want to make sure your home really, really shows well. So taking that time to put together a well-shown home. Basically, we want it to look the best it can possibly look. We want it to look the best on the photos, but we also really want it to look the best in person. A lot of times photos can hide imperfections, and then when people come, they'll be able to see that it doesn't show the way the photos look. So what you want to do is you want the photos to look just as good as it does in person. And so some of the tips that you could think about and take that time instead of rushing it on the market is, let's look at your exterior. Well, how does your exterior show? Have you washed it lately? I've noticed a lot of homes when I come up to the stairs, front stairs, there's spider webs in the front, it's dirty, there's kind of leaves blown over because nobody really usually goes through the front door if you have a double attached garage. So take a look at your exterior, give it a good pressure wash down. Take a look at your front door. How long have you been living in your home? One tip that I learned from my stager that we use is painting your front door color can just really modernize and freshen up the look of the home and just accentuate the curb appeal. So that's really important to just, take that time to figure out what are the things you need to do. Clean the windows. A lot of people don't clean their windows, and I'm not just talking, spraying it outside and washing it down. I'm talking about doing a good deep clean, including coming in from the inside, taking your screens out, cleaning those screens out, and cleaning. Also, just something you can do for staging is you can put those screens tucked away in your utility room so that when photos are happening, it shows even better because there's nothing obstructing the view. So that's really a little tip there. Now, another way you can show your home properly is taking a look at again, we're still outside, making sure your lawn's been mowed, making sure there's not a ton of weeds, taking a look at what you can do with the fence, your deck, all that kind of stuff. You want to make sure that everything looks amazing and that you would be proud to market this home. Those little details make a big difference when you're selling your home. Because people notice those things. People are looking on the photos, and if they're not attracted to the photos and pulled in, you're not even going to get a showing. And we really want you to get people in the door. The more people getting into your door, the sooner you get an offer. And we're talking about how to sell your home quick, right? So the faster people go in there, how do people get drawn in quicker? Because it looks really nice on photos. And so people just go, wow, the price is amazing. It's a great location. And those photos are awesome. I want to go see this in person. So you want to take a look at the condition of your homes, even just on the outside. That's the most neglected thing. Now, on the interior, I would really encourage that you would hire a professional or spend that time to really scrub down everything. Make sure that things are looking better than they've ever looked, because your house is going under a magnifying glass when buyers come to your property. And if you want a buyer quickly, an offer quickly, you want to have the least amount of things to do on a buyer's list. So if the home looks really nice, is move-in ready, you've got fresh coat of paint on the walls, maybe you have new flooring, you've made sure that there's no nicks on the walls, it's really clean and smells clean, that's going to make sure that this buyer actually wants to put an offer down right away, because they see what good condition it is, how well it's priced, it shows amazing. They can imagine themselves just moving in and not having to worry about them painting and them changing the floors, etc., etc., etc. So take a look at the condition of your home. That's so important to get your home a quick sale. So one more thing to add is staging. So when you're looking at, you've got the whole house cleaned, it's all freshly painted, looks amazing, sometimes the furniture isn't placed where it needs to be. So Leah is on our team and she helps our clients stage the furniture so that it looks the most attractive. It looks like a show home, really. I've had lots of clients say to me that they've not even ever thought of putting their furniture that way, and it's amazing. Now I've had other people be upset about moving things around and it's not, functional to the way they want. But what I'm saying is do what you can to allow the most amount of buyers to come into the property. Staging is not interior design for your liking. Staging is designed to appeal to the most amount of buyers. Okay, so we're on the last tip, which is the fifth tip, which is marketing and exposure. So we've figured out the right price, we've figured out, and we're very well aware of market conditions, we're knowledgeable on that. We have knowledge on the type of home and how that's working. We have knowledge on just how our house shows, what we're gonna do, we're all ready. Now, is that all you need? Put it up on MLS and just hope and pray that it sells really quick? There's one more thing that you can do. You can make sure that the marketing done on your property is the most it can possibly done. You need to have the most exposure, the most amount of eyeballs on your property. So if you just throw it up on MLS, it doesn't necessarily do its job. Of course, MLS has a huge reach. Realtor.ca reaches a lot of people, but there's so many other avenues of marketing. So some of the things that we do here is we have, of course, your listing is actually syndicated on hundreds of websites. We are on remax.ca, which also has, if not the same, if not more than realtor.ca exposure. There's also other social media avenues that we get eyeballs onto the property, because obviously the more eyeballs, the higher the chances that people are looking at it, the higher chance that people are actually going to go look at your property and write an offer. So we do things on Facebook. We take strategies on Facebook, not just throwing money at an ad randomly and hoping that people will see it, but we target specific buyers that we believe would be the ideal buyer for your home. So the people that are getting these ads are ones that, are in that range. Facebook's kind of smart that way because it understands and knows, just like Google, if you are actually looking to potentially buy a home, that maybe you're considering it because you just got a raise, or your family's about to expand. It knows all those things. So we captivate and we use our knowledge in marketing, for digital marketing, in Facebook, Instagram ads, Google ads. We take all that into consideration to make sure we maximize the eyes on the property. We also have the 3D tours. The 3D virtual tours are so important in the day and age that we live in today. There's a lot of people that want to see the layouts beforehand, before they come in. Our strategies changed. Before, I wanted people to look at the video and just see snippets of the home and just make the judgment when they got to the home. But now what we're seeing is we want to make sure that they really love the home before they even come in, so that they're that much closer to writing that offer. So marketing is so important. You want to have the most amount of exposure. So the more avenues you have, the more videos you have. We have videos on YouTube. We have videos that feature, listings. When we talk about how to move to Edmonton or moving to Edmonton, and we talk about different neighborhoods, we do feature up in the corner different listing videos and walkthroughs that I'm walking through the property to display that. Now we're on LinkedIn, we're in all these different avenues. So you want to make sure, has your listing, your home, been posted on all of those social channels? Are you doing digital marketing strategies? Are you doing social media strategies? And then also the other element is for marketing, we really want to make sure that they get in front of other agents' eyes in here in the city. How am I marketing to the agents? I'm reaching out, I'm networking, and I'm using my network to make sure that the listing is also featured, so that yes, they see it too, they can access it, it's not hidden, but having it featured kind of draws their attention and may run their mind of somebody who maybe not actively looking, but has mentioned to them, hey, if you ever see a house like this, let us know. We get that kind of request a lot. And so that's really important as well. So marketing exposure is not to be forgotten. It's a very important element of that. And if you can see, all these 5 factors all play a role in getting your home sold quickly. If you have any other questions, please comment or send me an email. I'll be happy to answer them. But hopefully this gave you a little tip. And don't forget the 7 tips to selling your home fast downloadable book just in the link when you fill out the form. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.